Good morning, children. Welcome to Pascal programming. So we have done the flowchart section. Now we are starting the programming section. So in your syllabus, we have a language called Pascal. So that is a high level language. So what do you mean by the high level language? The language we write program. What is first of all we'll see what is this programming language. So programming language is a language we use to communicate with the computer. So we use a different type of a language. So communicate now. If both of us we know the to communicate in English, we can understand it. So someone is trying to communicate in some other language which we do not know, so then there has to be a translator. So that person will translate your language into the other person language. So the Pascal programming is a programming language which is more closer to us, user language. That means the language comprised of the command which is more closer to English. So that's why we call it a high level language. And this language, since it is closer to the programming language, the human language, so computer cannot understand this language. So then there has to be a translator. So the Pascal code has to be translated to binary format so that the computer can understand it. So for this purpose, we use the translator called compiler. So when we do the practicals, we'll see how this is a translation happen. But this Pascal is a language. This is we call it's a more or less is a teaching language. So it is easy to understand to learn the programming. So this language initially is designed by the Nicholas Wirth person, and then he named this as the Pascal to honor the mathematician Blaise Pascal. I think grade 10 you learn Blaise Pascal is the one who developed the Pascal line, first calculator. So Pascal is we call the procedural language. That means this program you can write it as a small modules, and then you can larger program can be divided into the smaller program, and then the smaller program can turn into a program. That's what we call the procedural language. That is, we will learn it later. But first of all, we will learn about this language. So language comprise of the two particular naming words. One is we call the identifier, other one we call the keywords. So the keywords are words that is used in the language. And the identifier is a word that the programmer. So when you write a program, you became a programmer. So the identifier is words programmer use it. So programmer can create a name for the variable. Programmer can name the constant. You can give the name to the program function. Likewise, so programmer names something that is we call the identifier. So we cannot use keyword as identifier. So if you use that, you're getting an syntax error. You're getting an error. Hmm. So when you're creating the identifier, there are basic few rules that you have to consider. One is you have to start with the letter. So identifier has to start with the letter. You cannot start the identifier with a number. That is not possible. Now, for example, so if I start that I'm going to create a variable called count. Okay, I'm going to create a variable called count and I'm going to assign the value to 10. So this is what we call the identifier. So always it has to start with the letter. You cannot start it with the number. That is wrong. This is not a proper identifier. As well as you can start with the number, you can start with the letter, and then after that you can have a number. That is possible, but you cannot have space in between. So like this you can't write count space 1. That is wrong. You cannot write keep the space in between. But if you want to space it out, you can write the underscore like this. So those are the basic rules of creating an identifier. Identifier is anything you name it. That is a programmer name it. That is we call the identifier. It can be a program name. It can be a variable name. It can be a function name. So anything that we name it, that is we call the identifier. So those are the basic rules when we create the identifier. Now, when is a programming language, we use the data. So we work with the data. So the computer is a device which take the data and then process and give the information. So in the programming language, we take input as the data and then process it. So in this Pascal programming language, we use the different type of data types. Different type, they support these type of a data. So that means one is you can represent the numbers in Pascal. There are two type of data. That is, one is we call integer data type. Another one is we call the float data type. Integer data type, you can represent the number, whole numbers. You cannot use the decimal. Sorry, it's not a float, it's real. Oh, so mistake. So integer and real. Okay. So integer takes only the whole values. You cannot use the decimal when you use the integer data type. But the real, you can use the decimal. Want to create a value, you want to store the decimal value, then we'll have to use the real data type. So this is how in Pascal language we represent numbers. Now when you take the character or we call string. So the text we can uh, store in a program. So in a Pascal, it provides two type of text data type. One is we call char, other one is we call string. So char store only one character, whereas string can be stored up to 255 characters. Okay, so that is another data type. And there is another data type called Boolean data type. Okay, so Boolean data type can store values true or false. Whether it's like, for example, to store whether the gender or the we can say status, whether the status is student, you can say is a student status true or false, whether you are a student or not. Okay, so likewise, we can represent we can store the Boolean value to represent the true and false value. So those are the basic data type we used in Pascal language. Now, when you move into the variable and constant, this is very important. So variable and constants are required to write the programs. What is this variable or a constant? Is a memory location. So where we use this memory location in computer RAM. So in our computer RAM, we can allocate the memory location for our program. So I can allocate this is as a X and this is as a Y. Okay. So whatever, if it is a variable or constant, so variable, once the data is written, data is stored in the variable. If it is 10 stored in the X variable, during the program I can change it. For example, I can say X is equivalent to 10. The next moment I can say X is equivalent to X plus 5. Then I can say print X. So the small program. X is equivalent to 10. You have a variable called X. I'm going to store the value 10. Then X is equal to X plus 10. X is what? 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. Now what happened? This value is I'm going to change it to the 15. So this is possible, that is a variable. So variable can change the content during the program execution. But if it is a constant, so if you convert, if it is a, if you declare this as a constant, you can't change the value during execution. Once you assign, the value is stable. You can't change it. So the variables we declared we allocate the variable in Pascal language using var statement. So how do you use var? If my variable is x, and what is the data type? It can be an integer, it can be a string, and usually in the Pascal, at the end of the most of the statements, we use the semicolon sign. Now, if I want to create a constant, I don't use var. Var is for the variable, so constant I use const. You can say y is equivalent to 10. So then creating the variable called y, and I'm going to store the 10 value, but you can't change the value of y. So those are, we call the variables and constants. Then next we'll go to the different operators of the uh, Pascal. So Pascal provides the different operators. Now these operators you know. So plus means you can add. Subtract sign minus is you can subtract two values. And this is a multiplication sign. Okay, division sign is this. So that is we can say 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, 6 minus 3 is 3. 6 multiplied 3 is 18. 6 divide 3 is 2. So likewise, these operations are common, mathematics. But now there are different other two operators that you sometimes you might be knowing, but not know. So one is a mod operator. Mod operator means 6 divided by 3. What that's supposed to mean? You divide the 6 by 3 and we are getting the remainder value. So what is it here? 2. 2 into 3 is 6. What is the remainder? Is 0. So as a result, you are getting the 0. Mod is you are getting the division, but you are returning the remainder value. But if I use the div 3, so that is also similar division, but it does not it does not return the remainder. It returns the answer value. So that is 2 will be the answer. So for example, we'll take another one. Another example how this mod and the div works. So I'm going to use a 12 mod 4. Sorry, 5. So 12 mod 5 means you have to take the 12 divide by 5. So what is the answer? 2. 2 into 5 is 10. So 2 is remaining. So remainder is taken as a mod. But if I use the 12 div 5, so what I'm getting the answer 2. It's not return the remainder. So whatever the division answer will be remain. It's an integer portion. If once the division is done, sometimes you can say, so you take the 0 and 2.4 is the actual answer. So when you divide 12 by 5, actual answer is 2.4. But we don't take the decimal part, we take only the integer part in the div operator. Okay. I hope that you understood this. Now we go to the logical operators. So logical operators, there are three operators. In a grade 10, we learn these three operators: and, or, and not. And operator means in order to expression to become true, both expressions should be true. That's what we learn in logic gate. No? So in order to become one, or in order to expression the total resultant value to become true, both expression has to be true. But is operator means at least either one of the expression is true, you're getting the resultant value is true. But both the expressions are false, then your resultant expression is false. Okay, but at least one expression is true, then the resultant expression is becoming true. That is the or operator. Not operator means the complement of the value. If you get the true, the not means false. False. If you get the expression false, not mean it's a true. Opposite of the expression. Opposite value of the expression. Now, when you take these expressions, we have something called operator precedence. Operator precedence means we are giving the priority of the different operators. Okay. Now, we have a plus minus as well as we have a comparison operator. So, that is easy. That's what I will not explain is further. So, this is a greater than sign. Greater than and equal. So, this is a lesser than sign. Lesser than and equal. We can have a equal sign. This is the equal sign and this is a not equal sign. Okay, so these are some comparison operators. So all these operator, logical operator, arithmetic operator, and these comparison operators together, we give the different priority level. So first priority, definitely if it is a brackets, you have to do the bracket comes first. But apart from the bracket, first priority we have a not. Then second priority level, we have multiplication, division, div, mod and all come to the second. Third priority level plus minus O has given the third. Fourth, all the comparison operators are given in the fourth operator, fourth priority level. Now we'll see how we are going to do these particular questions. So first one we'll say 5 plus 14 mod 4. Now here we have a two operators. One is a plus, other one is a mod. So mod has mod priority level is higher than the plus. So we have to do the mod first. 14 mod 4. 14 divided by 4 and getting the remainder. What is it? 3. 3 into 4 is 12 and 2 is remaining. So as a result of this, you are getting the answer 2. So 5 plus 2 is equivalent to 7. So the answer for the first question is that. Okay. Now we'll go to the second question. 737 div 2. So here we have a division div operator priority is higher than the plus. So we have to do the division. 7 divided by 2. What you are getting the answer? 3. 3 into 2 is 6. 1 is remaining. So here as a result, we are getting the output 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay. So we go to the next question. So next is 8 mod 2 multiply 2 5 plus 10 div 2. Now here, so I told you the bracket comes first. So we'll have to do the bracket first. So 8 mod 2, 8 divided by 2. So then you are getting the answer 0, no? So 8 divided by 2, you are getting the 4 and 4 is 8, remainder is 0. Okay. And multiplication, when you do this, okay, first we'll have to do the div part, then the plus. Okay, 10 div 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay, so here 0 multiply 2 into 10. What is the 2 into 10? Is 20 multiplied by 0. So you are getting the answer C. Okay, so we'll go to the fourth question. So that is not 8 mod 2 greater than 5. Now we'll see how to do this. So here, first of all, we'll have to do the bracket. 8 mod 2. So mod operator higher priority than the greater than sign. When it's divide 8 mod 2 is 0. So 8 divided by 2 remain is 0. Is greater than 5. Is 0 is greater than 5? No. So that is answer is false. So not false means it's true. Okay. Okay, then next one, last question. 4 greater than or equal to 4 and not 7 greater than 9. So first of all, we'll have to do the bracket. Go to bracket. Not 7 greater than 9. 7 is greater than 9. No, that is wrong. So that is a false. Not false is true. Okay. And then we go this one. 4 is greater than or equivalent to 4. It is not greater than but equivalent to 4. So you can take it the answer as true. So true and true and is a operator. So both the expression is true, output is true. Okay, children. So that is the answer for all these questions. Okay, I hope you manage this. If you have any doubts, always you can WhatsApp to me your doubts. Okay, God bless you, children.